Hello, Nintendo Wii here. Today I'll be taking a look at some of my favourite video game art books. I'm sure a lot of you out there, if you're into games and collecting, as I am, you've probably wanted along the years to pick up a few art books to go with some of your favourite games. So I'm just going to take a look at some of my favourite books to go with some of my all-time favourite series. As I'm sure you know, I'm a huge Mega Man fan, so I just had to pick up this art book when I found it at an expo for Mega Man Star Force. One of my favourite games on the DS. This was the sequel to the GBA games, the Mega Man Battle Network series, and the Star Force games are just as good, and they have a new kind of 3D battle system to go along with it. Anyway, this book takes a look at 3 of the games in the series. There's only been 3 games in the series, but this book takes a look at all 3 of them. It's fairly brief in comparison to some of the other art books that I've got, but it does give you a nice little look into what the developers were thinking at the time, like how they came up with the enemy designs, how they came up with the characters. It just goes through all the different stages of the artwork, and a few things I find really interesting in this are some of the level plans that they've got. They actually draw out the levels in the isometric point of view. Obviously, as this was a continuation of the Battle Network series, and there was 6 of those games, I believe, a lot of the groundwork had already been laid out for these games, so taking a look through here, it really is just a refinement of those games taken into the future, as this was a Star Force series set far into the future compared to them. It is really interesting. I'll do a close-up of some of the pages from this book. They've put little sort of annotations to go along with some of the pictures, so you can sort of see what ideas they were coming up with at the time. Whoever translated it did a really great job, and it's very interesting to look at. Although I haven't actually finished Star Force 3, so I shouldn't really be looking at them pictures too much. I really do like the artwork in these games. So here, for example, is a picture of Harkno and Sonia. These are the basically roles replacement in this game. She's a normal schoolgirl who wants to be a musician, wants to be in a band, and her avatar, her Nat avatar, is called Harkno, and she helps her out throughout the game. And I like this bit here. It says her helmet's slightly larger than Roll's. It's worn like a hat, obviously. And then they have a picture of inside her skirt, which should never be visible within the game. I mean, I don't know how they would accidentally make it visible in the game, because it's all 2D sprites anyway, so they would have to actually draw that in the first place. There's loads of other characters, some really nice artwork of them. Some lovely full-page pictures as well. I wish I could like print these out and have them as posters or have them as a wallpaper or something. A wallpaper on my phone, not in my room, obviously. It's called Mega Man Star Force Official Complete Works, and it was published by Udon. Udon have a great reputation as being one of the best companies for making art books for games. So if you do have a particular favourite game, go and check out their website. I know they've got some for Street Fighter, they've got Valkyria Chronicles, they've got Mega Man, obviously. I think they've got quite a few other games. So I'll carry on with another Mega Man art book that carries on from this Complete Works, and this one is very hard to find. I got it for Christmas one year. This is Mega Man Official Complete Works. Mega Man as in the original Mega Man series. There's no Mega Man X in this. Mega Man X has its own Official Complete Works book. And I presume Battle Network does as well, but I've never seen that one. But this book here, this has to be one of my all-time favourite books ever. It's got so much detail. The original Mega Man series is just one of my favourite game series ever made. One of my favourite things ever made. And this book goes into so much detail, and I love the fact that it even has an interview at the back, so you can really get a sense of what they were trying to come up with. Do you want to say hello to YouTube? Here's my cat. His name's Nemo. I did have another cat called Sonic, but I don't know where he's gone. So I think Nemo might be helping me out with the rest of this episode. Do you want to get comfy? So, as I was saying, now I also have a cat with me, Mega Man Complete Works, one of my favourite art books. It goes through all of the original series, Mega Man's 1 to 6. I think this came out before 8 and 9. It might have a little bit about 7 as far as I remember. But one of my favourite things about this is the little notes that Keiji Inafune actually writes to go along with each of the games. And I was very happy to find out that Mega Man 4 is one of his favourites, because it's also my personal favourite Mega Man game. This book takes a look at the original 8 Mega Man games in the original series. 9 and 10 weren't out when this was released, so it only looks at the original 8. But it's a really good insight into the creation of the Mega Man original series. I also love the fact that they... oh, my finger's covered in cat bogies now. I love the fact that they have all sorts of otherwise unknown stuff, such as this, the Rockman comic, Birth of Mega Man. This has nothing to do with the Mega Man comics that came out recently. This is like an old Japanese one that they've translated just for this. There's also some really nice early sketches of all the character designs and boss designs. Everything like that, really. All the original colour-coded sheets for all the boss characters. There's just so much information in this book. You could literally spend an entire day reading it and not get bored. It has some really nice anniversary pictures, comic book adaptations, the terrible UK and US box art, of course. You've always got to have that. It's got about the PlayStation games in here, it's got about the NES games. It's got really nice concept pictures from each of the Robot Masters. It even talks a little bit about the PSP game, the remake of the original. Some really interesting things. We've got a Mega Man board game called Rockman Board. No idea what that is. Rockman 2 Power Fighters from the arcade. The Power Battle. Mega World. Just so much cool stuff in this book. I know I keep saying that, but honestly, really, really interesting. Definitely pick this book up even if you have just the slightest interest in Mega Man. 100% worth reading. So I do have another Mega Man art book here, but I'll come back to this one in just a little bit. I'm going to give you guys a break from Mega Man and move on to something else. Next up is an art book from one of my other all-time favourite series. One that I haven't put as much time into as I would like. This is the Atelier series Official Chronicles. Atelier being Atelier Iris, Manichemia, Atelier... I think the last one that this goes up to is Atelier Rorona for the PS3. So obviously there's like another 5 or 6 games that have came out since then. So this is fairly old from today's point of view. But I really picked it up because Manichemia on the PS2 is one of my all-time favourite RPGs. I absolutely adore that game, it's fantastic. Just word of warning though, if you do want to play Manichemia, do not pick up the PSP version because it is terrible in comparison. So definitely go with the PS2 one if you can. But I really, really love this art book. I love the style of the Atelier games. The concept art, the character designs, everything about that game just screams Japanese, cute, RPG, fantasy, and I absolutely love that style. So I'll definitely be sharing quite a few of these pages with you because really it just has that sort of fantasy feeling that you don't get these days. This goes all the way back to the very first game on the PS1, and I really would like to go and play some of them, but unfortunately they never came out in English. There was one on the DS as well, which came out in America, so I might end up picking that one up one day. So yeah, my first actual proper Atelier game was Atelier Iris on the PS2. But I love this. It has a little description about the games at the start, it has the release date, it has who created the games, and then it has a few sort of posters that go with the games, and below it is an artist's comment, so they actually write about like what they were thinking at the time, what sort of direction they wanted to take with the drawings. And it really gives a good insight into what the designers at the time were actually thinking when they were coming up with the ideas for it. My all-time favourite in that series, Manichemia. My god, I love that game. I don't even know why. I mean, it's fairly repetitive, it's fairly basic, but there was just something about it that just drew me in and wouldn't let go. Love it to bits. Manichemia 2, not so much. I feel like they were trying to take it in a different direction and it didn't really work out. And then obviously it ends up on Atelier Rorona. And my absolute favourite thing about this book, it has a really nice bit at the back, quite a good few pages as well, that just talks about like the themes of the games, like the way the games play and how that's evolved over the years, which is really interesting. It's got a complete list of every single game up to 2009, which is when this book came out. There was also one on the Game Boy Color which I didn't know about, so that's fairly interesting. So you can see how it's changed. And then my other favourite part of this is a really nice, long, beefy interview with the developers and the artist, Mel Kishida. Which is... here, Mel Kishida. And he is my favourite video game artist ever. Just love his style. And reading this gave me a fantastic insight into how he works and what sort of drawings he does and what sort of programs he's got and that sort of thing. So really recommend this book if you're into anime, if you're into Japanese RPGs, if you're into the Atelier series in general. Definitely go and check this one out. Right, I'm aware this is running on a little bit, so I won't get too carried away. I've got 3 more books. So this next one is kind of all about the spin-off games of the Atelier series. This is called the Art and Alico visual book. I've played all 3 of the Art and Alico games. I haven't finished the PS3 one, but I really love the first 2 on the PS2. I just love that era of RPGs where it was like on a newish console, but it still had 2D sprites and fantastic gameplay and music to go along with it. So this has a really good insight into the original Art and Alico series. Loads of nice concept art for all 3 of the games. Art and Alico 2 is by far my favourite. I love that game as well. This one is a bit raunchy, so be warned, but I'm sure if you've played the games you'd already expect that, because you know all sorts of innuendo and stuff they come up with in them games. It's pretty hardcore. But even so, the battle system and everything in them games is fantastic, and the story's really interesting. But this one's more to do with the characters than the games. It's got a lot of sort of character descriptions and then their sort of CG moments in the games to go along with it. So I really love this book because I do like a lot of the characters in them games. I haven't really played the third one that much. I'm not too keen on the art style I went with compared to the first 2. And once again, it's got a lovely interview in the back with the developers. So definitely worth reading if you like the Art and Alico series. And it's even more in depth than the Atelier book. So yeah, can't recommend it enough if you like Art and Alico. Definitely give this book a read. I'm sure this book needs no introduction. This is Hyrule Historia. It was so popular when it first came out, and this is probably the first time that I've actually seen an art book in a proper bookshop, and it's still there now if you go into Waterstones or something like that. This book is like a complete Bible of Zelda. It's so detailed, it's incredible. It goes through every single game in the series. Obviously it was kind of there to advertise Skyward Sword, so there's quite a lot of Skyward Sword at the start. I really love that game. But it goes into so much detail about the history of the series, the storyline within the series. This is by far the art book with the most words in as well, so if you like Zelda, you owe it to yourself to pick this up. It goes right through every single game in the series. It's got development notes and material for every game. You can see how the game's changed over the course of creating it. It's just really fascinating read. And I absolutely love the Zelda series, so you really can't go wrong with this. Even if you only have a passing interest in Zelda. And it does have a really nice little comic in the back for Skyward Sword as well. Like an entire game catalogue, you can see every Zelda game that was ever released. Minus the CDI games, because Nintendo likes to think that they don't exist. But yeah, so much detail, I don't even know where to begin talking. So I'll just do a few little snippets of the pages for you. Really cool book, really interesting. So this is a kind of different art book to the others. This one is actually a fan art book. It's also published by Udon, who made the other Mega Man art books. But this one is entirely fan art from people all around the world to celebrate Mega Man's anniversary. It has artwork for a lot of the different series of Mega Man. So it's got some Mega Man Legends fan art, it's got some original Mega Man fan art, it's got a lot of Mega Man X in there as well. So no matter what kind of Mega Man you like, or what sort of style you like as well, there's a lot of different Western styles in this book, from a lot of different artists all over the world. Really interesting, and there's some fantastic drawings in here, really. There's also some really weird and creepy ones, but a lot of it is really interesting. There's not actually much to read in this, it is literally just an art book, but if you're buying an art book, you want art, don't you? So really, it's perfect. And I love the different styles and just how much effort and how much passion these people have for the Mega Man series is just fantastic. There's still so much love for the series even today. Apart from Capcom, they obviously don't love it anymore. But the fans do, and that's what matters. Yep, there's even some from Tron Bonne for the PS1. Really every single Mega Man game you can think of is in here, in art form. Oh, here's a few of the other books that Udon does. So you can definitely, if you like them series, like, let's see, Resident Evil, Phoenix Wright, Okami, that's another really nice series. Mega Man X, Mega Man Zero, I definitely want to pick them up at some point. Darkstalkers, that's a fan favourite. Mega Man Battle Network Complete Works, yep. Definitely got a lot more books to buy from these people. So this next one isn't so much of an art book as a sort of complete history of one person. This is Ken Sugimori Works. Ken Sugimori, if you don't know, is the art director for Pokemon. He came up with some of the original designs for the monsters, which you can actually see in here and see just how different they look to the finished versions. But unfortunately, pretty much the first half of this book is dedicated to a comic that he drew for one of his very early NES games called Quincy. It starts off interestingly enough with like sprite work and stuff, and then because this was imported from Japan, there is an interview but it's entirely in Japanese, and then like the next half of the book is just a comic from Quincy, which is kind of strange, but I guess it's good that it's been preserved in here. People wouldn't have the chance to see it otherwise. And it's definitely a game I would like to check out at some point because I've never had the chance of actually playing it. So maybe when I'm in Japan later this year I can try and track down a copy for the Famicom and see what that's all about. And the second half of this book is about another game that he created and for some reason wanted to make another huge comic about, and that is a game called Jelly Boy. It basically looks like a Puyo Pop beam that goes on adventures as far as I can tell. Sadly there wasn't much in this book about Pulseman for the Mega Drive, which is another game that he worked on at the time. And also sadly they leave Pokemon to right at the end of the book. There is this really interesting drawing of one of the very first ideas of Pokemon, and you can see from this that a lot of the Pokemon in this picture don't actually exist or have changed quite a lot in the final game. I'm not going to try and explain the history of Pokemon and how these drawings match up to the actual games, but if you want to go and check out a YouTube channel called Tamashi Hiroka, she does some amazing Pokemon videos and goes really in depth into the history of the series. And then at the back there's a little bit of Pokemon, but not a lot. This would be more interesting if I could read Japanese, which I am trying to, so hopefully one day I can go back to this book and take a read at some of the interviews inside it and really get an insight into one of the most interesting people in the industry. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a comment down below, subscribe if you enjoyed this. Let me know what sort of videos you want to see in the future. Take care. Goodbye.